Now recording.
All right. Good morning, everybody. My name is Ross Snare, and I'm the Senior Director of Operations and Government Affairs for the Prince William Chamber of Commerce. Every year, we try to provide our membership with access to our local elected officials and try to get them the best information we can on those local elections that happen here in Virginia every single year. This year, unfortunately, due to COVID, we can't have these events in person because we really would like these to be a real meet and greet with the candidates. So you can get to know them more at a personal level. That being said, our town hall series this year is going to be done virtually. We focused on the city of Manassas, which has a mayor's race and city council races coming up. We've extended offers to all parties. Both the candidates running for mayor have agreed to participate, Michelle being one of them. We thank her so much for joining us today. And then Theresa Ellis will be later on in the month, and we'll be sending more information out about that as well. We did extend offers to the Republican candidates for city council. They have their event this Friday. And we did extend it to the Democrats. And as of right now, there is no meeting that has been scheduled. And without further ado, I'd want to get the ball started, and I'm going to hand it over to Ms. Davis Younger and just have her give her starting elevator pitch before we go into some prepared questions.
Wow, elevator pitch. That's pretty good because I always give that to my clients. You got to get your elevator pitch ready. You got to be ready to go. Thank you so much for the invitation to come before the chamber. I feel like I'm home. I'm a member of the chamber, so lots of familiar names and faces. I think I joined in 2017. I want to say it's been 3 or 4 years. So just really has been an honor and a privilege. And the chamber has been awesome as far as business connections for me as well. As most of you know, I do own my own HR, human resources consulting business located right in the heart of Old Town Manassas. I've had the business pretty much since, I guess, 1996. I was working out of my home, and then I went on to rent a brick and mortar out of the Weber Rector building in Old Town in 2017, I believe it was. So I've had the business for a long time. My business supports, and I have chamber members that are past clients as well and one current. So I support small business who don't necessarily need a full-time HR department or that kind of support on a full-time basis, but they just need the HR stuff done. And so I kind of come in ad hoc support, do employee handbooks, when you have to terminate someone, when you're trying to get forms made, that kind of thing. Come in, get out, easy peasy, don't have to be in your face all the time. And that seems to work very well. On the individual side of it, I teach resume writing and interview skills for folks. Helping those get employed who want to be employed is the number one thing, because when you're making money, you're going to spend it in my city, and that is a wonderful thing for all of us. So I have had that, like I said, since 1996, and just continue to run my business. And being elected to city council, still running the business, hadn't slowed down with that at all, but I was elected to the Manassas City Council in 2018. So I've been 2 years going on there. Since joining the council, been involved in a lot of different things. I am the chair of the appointments committee, and the appointments committee is responsible for getting the volunteers who live in the city involved in our boards, committees, and commissions. It is a very important role for people, and as mayor, and I know we'll talk about what I envision, what I want to do, is to see more of that community involvement from all walks of Manassas. Not just, we want to see the diversity in the city, that we've become more involved in our boards, committees, and commissions. And as part of the appointments committee, we established term limits. And so to that end, that is one of the reasons why we put that in, is to encourage others to join the boards, committees, and commissions, to see that diversity and inclusion there. So some didn't think it was such a great idea, but with change, everything is, that's always hard. Change is always hard, but we pushed forward, got that, and we're seeing way more involvement from many different people, and that is what we all want. We want to hear different ideas. We don't want everybody at the table that thinks like us or looks like us. We want to see diversity, and so we've been able to do that more effectively on our boards, committees, and commissions. Another thing that I'm very proud of. Is that we've recently stood up the Equity and Inclusion Task Force. And that is, we just recently made the announcement on who was appointed to that, and we made over 35 appointments. So that's 35 folks, just regular everyday citizens in Manassas who have signed up to be a part of this task force, which will turn into a committee probably 6 months to a year. So that's still being stood up. There will be an outside facilitator coming in, but the idea is to get people from all neighborhoods all over Manassas involved in the city to be able to come to council and tell us, what policies are not working, where are we missing the mark here with diversity and inclusion. So really looking forward to getting that off the ground. I'm on the social services board as well. I totally love doing that because that HR social services kind of goes hand in hand. I enjoy working with our new director, Michelle Gear. She has come on board and just done a wonderful job. We're looking at now setting up the Interfaith Council, where when this pandemic hit, there were a lot of siloed events and things like that. People doing all sort of different, their own thing, giving out food here, doing clothes here, doing that. So we want to try to make something to where people can go to one spot, or at least have a list of all church participating to say, hey, these are places that you can go to get help, and make it a lot more easier. What else am I on? I've been spearheading the Jenny Dean fundraising efforts as well, being on council. Every meeting, I'm always, give money. We are having the unveiling of the statue on the 24th of October, and I'm really, really excited about that. That was, the first school for the colored children in the area. My mother actually went there and graduated from there. She's 82 years old. So this is seeing this come to fruition, and us being lifelong Manassas residents. It's very exciting for us. What else? Just involved in so many other things. Parks and Rec. I had to make a list because you often forget, you do so much. Oh my God. What else? The Equity and Inclusion. Well, the Appointments Committee, Social Services, Parks and Rec. I'm on the Air Quality Commission as well. So lots of moving stuff. When you go on council, you don't realize you have to join all these boards and stuff outside. You're like, oh wait, I can just say goodbye to my family. It's gone now. So, but basically, I mean, lifelong resident Manassas. It just felt natural coming onto council, being there 2 years, taking Manassas to the next level. We've seen change, but not quite enough. And looking at the demographic that's moving into the city, I think I saw someone post where our average age is mid-30s. I'm a little above that, but still pretty much in tune with how to communicate, how to make sure that Manassas stays the place where people want to come, they want to live, they want to raise a family, and moreover, find employment and work here as well. Bringing businesses into the city, decreasing the tax base. That's what we want. You got to have those relationship skills to be able to do that. And I, being an HR professional, I have that. People want to sit down. What is it about her? I got to sit down and talk to her. And so just building those bridges and making sure that Manassas is on the forefront and not catching up, but we're leading the efforts and getting businesses to the city and making sure that they grow. Relationship building is what I do best. I already have relationships pretty much in place with all of the Board of Supervisors in Prince William County. So working with them hand in hand on what's going on in the county affects Manassas. We're dead center in the middle of it. So you can't be building all around me and not include me in what's going on. It's very important that those relationships are in place. They are a new board. And so they're kind of finding their way, as we know from their first meeting was like 12, 13 hours. I think every meeting has been like that. them, poor souls. And I go to their meetings. I attend not all of them, but I've been to some of them, and just try to put Manassas out there as we're here to support you. We're here with you. We see what you're dealing with, because I want that same thing to come back to us. The communication needs to be there. So I don't know that did I introduce myself a little bit?
You did. That was
Well,
fantastic. That was fantastic. So just so everybody knows, what we're going to go into the next part is I have 5 pre-prepared questions that I'll have. And then if you have any additional questions, please type them into the chat bar and we will try to get them answered as soon as possible. So the first question. Oh,
I think I answered that one.
You did?
I think I did. From Michael Whitlock. I don't even. Oh, he is there. I saw him earlier. His face on there earlier, but now I see. And I apologize for the chimes. That just happens when somebody opens the door.
Of course. Hey, we're all learning from home. We're learning from home. So the first prepared question I have for you, Michelle, is what is your vision for the city? As you know, your longtime mayor, Hal Parrish, is retiring. It will be, no matter who wins the election for mayor, it'll be a historic day. It'll be the first woman mayor we'll have in the city of Manassas. So just share with us your vision for the city.
I did, and I touched on this a little bit earlier, in that knowing that our age of the average person that's living is mid-30s, that in itself is like, whoa, that is not old Manassas. It is a new Manassas. My vision for the city is that we keep it the hidden gem, but then we also are on the forefront, breaking through, being the leader. Look what Manassas, we already are. Certain things we're doing, like the first Fridays with the alcohol, and getting the permit, people calling us. How did you guys do that? What did you do? That's what we want to continue. And understanding that Manassas is more than just Old Town. We have those corridors on the outside with lots of businesses there that need our attention and help as well. The vision I see is embracing old and new, bringing it together, involving the entire community, regardless of the neighborhood you live in. Everyone deserves a voice and a seat at the table. Now you have to earn it. I'm one of those that will continue to push younger people. I see a huge fear of government and really just sort of ignorance, and nobody really encouraging them to learn about the government and getting more involved. So I have been really pushing for younger folks. Hey, join a board, but start off slow. My son recently, and he's blaming me for this, he's on the cemeteries committee. Hey, you got to start somewhere. And it's slow. And so but it works for him, and it's a way for him to learn. And so just getting people to want to be involved in the city. I've often used the scenario that when you're not involved, it's just like handing someone your checkbook and saying bye. We are responsible for taking care of your money. You're the taxpayers. You are taking care. You are contributing to the city. You are electing us to do what's right and hold us accountable. Accountability and transparency is at the forefront of my vision as well for this city. We need to be open and honest about what we're doing. Let city manager and council run the city, the mayor's guidance. The mayor is out encouraging businesses to come to the city, working with the schools, building and repairing those relationships. I know schools is at the forefront of a lot of people's concerns right now. That relationship hasn't been the best. And one thing I really want to work on first right off is repair and that relationship with the schools. The vision is a lot. I mean, we've got a lot going on. We got the new fire station, the new police station, we've got a lot going on. So just carrying forward what's already been put in place, but being also more inclusive, regardless of what neighborhood you're in, what state you're in. I want to see our high school students, as I touched on earlier, I want to see them graduate. If college is not for you, have an opportunity to get an apprenticeship or an internship. I was an intern with IBM. That was my first job right in Manassas. I left school early, would go over to IBM, work for a few hours. I can't tell you, that little $4.25 an hour made the world to me. And it helped my parents out too, because I could pay for a lot of stuff my senior year. But that kind of thing we need to bring back, and we need to make sure that we wrap our arms around that and encourage that, bringing the businesses and the schools together to make that happen.
Well, that's perfect. That's a good segue into the second question I had for you, which is how do you plan to work with the business community?
Oh, well, that encouraging them to do apprenticeships and internships, and because at college is not for everyone. Everyone's not going to have that opportunity. And so we want to make sure that we're creating those pathways in high school before they finish to be able to have somewhere to go and work. That's how I did it. And then later on opening up my own business. But you got to create those things. Another thing that I want to see, because we have such a high rent population, home ownership. When you own your own home, you take way more pride in it. And that encourages more, and you'll see that grow, and more people will want to come. Hey, you can own a home here, but you gotta make the pathway there. You gotta lay it there for people to walk down that path and make the ways for them, working hand in hand with the chamber and businesses. And my contacts already, with the chamber are there. I already have, like I said, clients and folks that I already know. And I look forward to continuing that relationship. I'm not going anywhere with the chamber. So that is
We love that. We love that. So my next question for you is, how would you assist sole proprietors to grow into small enterprises and increase employment into the city?
how to grow. I'm
That's a good question, because I think you're one as well, right?
Well, yeah, I am.
Mhm.
And just getting into it again, I'm talking in chamber, but really, you got mayor's checklist is kind of something that I've come up with. Like, as mayor, what are some of the first things that I'm going to do? And at the top of the list is, have you contacted the chamber? Have you
Yeah.
contacted Economic Development Director Patrick Small? I mean, he and I have a great relationship. I sit in on the EDA meetings, even though I'm not the liaison, but I want to sit in the meetings so I can know what's going on. That our economic development department is top notch. I mean, when a business moves into the city, they take so much time in making sure that their needs are met. If you don't know what to do, it's really not our fault. I mean, we go above and beyond aspect. So encouraging that, making sure people are aware of it. I think a lot of people, oh, I didn't know that existed. So I want to be a mayor that comes into the community to say, hey, when that business first opens, before ribbon cutting, before all the lights and flashes, as a lot of you know, I'm not about that. I do a lot of work behind the scenes that people don't even realize, because it's not a photo op, it is for real. And I'm going to be there before all of that to say, what can I do for you to ensure and make sure you stay here and that you grow, so that way I can bring over those high school kids when they finish to help your business needs to be. So, I mean, that if that answers the question, I hope.
Yes, it does. It does. So how do you view the role of mayor in creating a well-educated workforce and the role as mayor when it comes to economic development?
Well-educated workforce, that is, again, that transparency of government, what we're doing, working with the schools, because you got to grab kids young. I'm a big believer in, why can't we have field trips at City Hall? Why do we
Yeah.
have to run to DC? You got government right here. And a lot of people, again, have that fear. They just don't know. Nobody's ever introduced it. Do you realize you could be council? Do you realize you can be mayor? Do you realize there's jobs in the city for you? And so encouraging that kind of thing, that's what it's all about. As mayor, that is what you should be out in the community. You should be the face of it. People should see you, get to know you, and know that you are there supporting the efforts that you see making the city better. And the businesses, I mean, that just goes without saying, that is the lifeblood. That's what we've got to have, because that's what sustains us.
So the final of my prepared questions, then we'll go into the chat room for it. How do you view Manassas's competitive standing compared to other cities with regards to taxes, regulations, and job creation? And how would you improve the city's competitiveness as mayor?
With regard to taxes, I mean that I try to avoid that, but it comes up. With the more businesses, the less the increase the tax base. That's always going to be a good thing. Push the business development, and that way the tax burden is less on the taxpayer. So, I would say we're pretty competitive. Our budget, I mean, considering what we're in right now with COVID and all of that, we're doing pretty well. We got $7 million in CARES money that we were able to help the businesses out. We have provided rent and utility assistance and even childcare assistance for our residents here. So we are right there. And as I said before, a lot of jurisdictions call us about, how did you guys do this? Tell us how you set this up. We, as most of you probably know, we are very involved. Senator McPike always going to the mat for us. He recently got a bill passed to help extend. I know one of our local breweries was having an issue with having outside seating because of manufacturing or the alcohol right there and something. And he went and got that passed. So now that will help their business. So I think with us, it is you get that small town feel, but you get that cutting edge, like, wow, they really push it a little. And I kind of want to do that. Let's keep doing that within limits, of course, but you want to see what you can do. You never know until you try. And so not being afraid, pushing, using all your resources around you. I got no problem getting in touch with McPike and whoever else I need to call. What can we do to help out? But we don't know about it if we're not out there in it. And so being involved and getting out there, first and foremost, hearing and listening. I want to, as mayor, do quarterly roundtables with just everyday citizens. I did them not too long ago when COVID hit. I still wanted to be able to reach people and talk to them. So I started doing brunches. I don't know if I was doing them Facebook Lives. I don't know if you guys were able to catch them, but I had a different restaurant in the city bring food to my house, and then we went Facebook Live. It was really great. And that way it kind of drummed up business for the restaurants in the area to, hey, call them up, get your food delivered. Roundtables with citizens, roundtables with faith leaders, roundtables with business owners. That's how you let people know that you care and you want to know what's going on. You can't fix what you don't know about, but when you know better, you do better. And I want to be held accountable for that. So I get so sidetracked, Ross. Sometimes I think
You're fine. You're fine.
I talk, I can't help it. So, but well-educated workforce is that we've got to make sure that information is readily available to everyone. We have done a great job with making sure that a lot of our a lot of our documentation and our website and stuff is in Spanish because most of our population is. And now our website even has the little toggle when you go to manassascity.org, you can toggle and click on that box and you actually can change the language on the website. So we have 40 different choices to change, and that's awesome. And we've just been really big on pushing that out in all of our literature and stuff like that. So it is just getting in there, making sure that we are listening to the folks and what's not being met and meeting people where they are, but taking them to the next level. Don't leave them the same way as you met them. You got to take them to the next level. So.
Perfect. Well, again, reminder to everybody, if you have any additional questions, please type them into the chat box. All right, Michael Whitlock.
Man,
with no phase 4, exactly. So with no phase 4 on the horizon, outside eating will be gone. Retail does 70% of its yearly business sales this quarter. How can they survive, and what can you do as mayor to assist them?
Well, a lot of folks I've already seen, like for instance, CJ Finn's has gotten the outside tent seating. And, I know that a lot of them have used the money that they were able to apply and get to make those, what do you call it, like renovations or additions. Mm-hmm. Try to encourage it. I really don't know. I'm not going to blow smoke. I mean, we got to just figure it out as we go. I don't think anybody has an answer, Michael. I really don't. We just kind of have to see and pray that, and I know prayers that's good, but we got to put work into it as well. But any ideas, I'm open to any ideas that anybody has. Certainly send to me, but I think like Chris is leading the way with what he's doing. But when I drove by and I saw them, I'm like, oh my God, this guy's a genius. He's pretty good at this, So I'm like, you should be in marketing, Chris. And he's like, I'm just doing what I got to do to survive. And it is that. But we're just going to kind of have to see how things progress. And roll with it. Always, got the ear of Senator McPike. And like I said, I rely on him heavily for lots of help with what can we do? What can we do? And believe me, it's not forgotten, and we're trying to figure it out. So, and we will somehow, some way.
Exactly. So the next question is, what are the top 5 objectives once you're elected as mayor of Manassas? You mentioned already your number 1 is to repair the relationship with the schools. What are your next 4?
Well, the relationship with the schools, and I've mentioned, thank you, Kevin, for the question. The relationship with the schools, and I kind of think I've touched on all of them, but the accountability and transparency, and I think you'll see on my website when you go there, returning City Hall back to the citizens. It often feels like we're paying taxes here and we don't have a say in what's going on. I want that to come back around. You are the ones that elect us to these positions, and we are responsible to you as the citizens to be fiscally responsible and accountable for what we are doing. So that's 2. 3, again, community involvement, getting rid of that fear of government, making sure that everyone is included, that wants to be, encouraging those, just to not be afraid of government, that it is not the big bad thing that you think it is. Everything isn't like DC. Local is pretty cool. I never thought I'd be where I am, but somebody opened the door and showed me, and like, okay, this is great, so I want to reach back and get other people. I think that's pretty much it. I mean, that, the school board relationships, I want to make sure that Manassas is on the forefront of, and not catching up, but leading the way for small towns in what we do. And that we are always represented as the front runner when it comes to small towns. I think that that's really important. And I'd love to be the face to lead the city. I mean, that I want it to be a place where people want, what's going on over there? They still have Old Town. They still have an Old Town. It's so cool, but we also have those other on the outside. We want to bring some more attention and get the outside of Old Town looked at and taken care of as well. So
Absolutely. So the next question is from Molly Grove from George Mason University, and she kind of stole the thunder because I was going to ask the same kind of question. Do you see the city needing any transportation improvements to access in and out of the city?
Bus service around the city is all really that I've heard being talked about. Our vice mayor, Pam Sabeski, is all things transportation for council, and I kind of let her take the lead on that. But I know that VRE, looking at more trips, that kind of thing has been talked about as well. And again, I'm not at the forefront in knowledge of transportation for the city. So there more than likely are options being discussed. I'm just not aware of any that are, on the table being looked at, but I certainly think that bus service around the city could be improved, getting from point A to point B. And in the COVID era that we're in right now, it's hard.
Yeah.
But we're doing what we can do. But in the future, hopefully when this is all behind us, definitely see an increase for, especially with VRE, with increased trips in and out of the city would be an awesome thing. So I think that answered it.
Yeah. And the route, I just my commentary, I think the Route 28 bypass, which is something the chamber has supported.
How can I forget? That is
exactly.
Like oh my God. That? I forgot all about that. Yeah, we have the groundbreaking on that on the 26th, I think it is, of October.
I'd have to check.
I think it is. It's the 26th. It's like a Monday that they're actually groundbreaking at that point where the 28 bypass is going to be going.
Oh, wow. Fantastic.
Yeah. So I saw that from county stuff. Again, the connections with the county. I'm in touch with what they're doing. So, yeah. All
right. And then you have agreed to attend a Zoom candidate forum for election year 2020 and 2021. On October 24th, 2020, this forum will have up to 60 men in the age range from 28 to 70 years old. What would your message be to those men be in their engagement in the political process?
Well, if I tell you now, what will I say on the 24th, Kevin? That was a typical politician answer, wasn't it?
Exactly. She's got to keep you surprised somehow.
You know, I growing up, I'm 51 and make no bones about it. I the man leads. I mean, that just kind of how I grew up, but you've got to set the example. That is the message, especially for men of color. You've got to set the message that, you know, voting is important. All elections matter. I mean, everybody's talking all these lives matter, but all elections and all votes matter as well. I think pushing involvement, and I talk about that because I've seen it first and foremost coming onto council. Like, what is this? There is no diversity here. Wanting to get involved, and make change. It's got to start with an example. Filling in those spots where you have a single mom, help that single mom out, understand, help that, you know, if you got it. I was a single mom with a young boy. I needed a male figure to come and talk and help and teach and learn. That's what my message will be, to a lot of the men there, younger, older. It's up to you to make the difference. And one person, take two people, take three people to the polls, voting, getting registered to vote. I actually went online and set up, and took the course, or I guess you look at a video, to become a person who registers people to vote. So I can do that. I went to our attorney and said, am I allowed to do this on council? He said, absolutely, you can do it. You know, I'm not telling you who to vote for, just register and vote. So that mostly would be, you know, probably what I talk about, to the men, and engaging in the political process. It's not just about showing up for protests and rallies. It is about caring on a day-to-day basis, becoming involved again in those committees and boards and commissions. I have gotten some really good feedback, and just, wow, why didn't I do this before? Making government a place where they feel accepted. That's one of my goals, is that, you know, you feel like you don't belong here. A lot of times I still hear that about Old Town Manassas. That is one thing that I am just bound and determined to change. I'm not comfortable going there. Why? We have all these great things. We have First Friday, you know, when pre-COVID, we have all these things going on. I just don't feel like I belong. I've got to change that. I'm taking that personally. And so for the men there, it is setting the example. It is encouraging them. It is showing them, leading the way, bringing them with you to meetings. Come to council meetings. Anybody can come to a board or commission meeting. It's open to the public. Just getting involved, having workshops, having seminars, forums, doing day trips to City Hall. You know, meet the city manager, meet members of council. I want it to be open. I want them to see these are opportunities that exist, for them. But if nobody shows them and nobody teaches, all I heard growing up was go vote. That's it. Go vote. You don't need to do anything else. Just go vote. Not so much. I need you to have a voice. I need you to sit at the table. I need you to tell me what's not working for you. I will not know if you don't tell me. And then it gets too bad to where almost you can't fix it. But we don't want things to get that way. So think that that's just a teaser to what I'm going to talk about.
Well, I do want to thank you for taking the time to talk with us today, Michelle. It's been an honor. Are there any final statements, comments you want to make?
Me? Oh, no, I think I've talked enough, Ross, really. I appreciate you guys for coming on this morning. I know everybody's busy. We're all trying to adjust and get through this, and we will get through it together. It's going to take all of us. Nobody has the answers. We are all just trying to make the best out of this horrible situation. We're 20 some days away. I'm out in front of City Hall. I am pushing. I am I just love seeing people come to vote. If you don't vote for me, that's fine, but just voting, just seeing generations. I'm seeing grandma, daughter come together. It is a beautiful thing, and it's wonderful. Except when I'm standing out there in the rain, it's a beautiful thing. So But no, I just appreciate the chamber, always will always be first and foremost for businesses coming into the city. That is my go-to. I'm like, if you can't find it with the chamber, something wrong. So definitely appreciate the relationship and the opportunity to come to you guys today. I really do. It's awesome.
Thank you so much. And for everybody to know, this will be posted onto our Facebook page later today. So hopefully more people can like it and share it. So please do that when you see it up on our Facebook page. Again, Michelle, thank you so much today. We greatly appreciated this.
Thank
Hope
you.
everybody has a good rest of the day.
Thank you. Bye, guys.